Alright, so I got the hood on lockdown. We might have some doors on lockdown, we'll see. But we're definitely going to go the route of replacing everything because it's actually a lot cheaper than painting. So what we're going to do right now is I need to get this hitch off because we are headed out on the 4th or 5th next month, which is coming up very quickly. So if you guys can see how this hitch sags, this is a Big Hitch Products hitch. And they're saying it's not their problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this whole thing pulled off. And I'm going to show you guys what the problem is. But yeah, it just, in my opinion, it's not the greatest design in the world. There's no back bracing. And it's just all designed to pull down like that. Whether it was in the drop position or if it's in the up position, they're saying if this hitch is not straight on, then it's a problem. You know, it's not their problem. So it's a huge leverage point. It's like, that's kind of the point. If you're going to put a hitch and you're going to rate it at 20,000 pounds and it's going to sag at 15,000 pounds. All right, so I got the hitch off. You guys can see the reason I bought this hitch. One, I wanted a roll pan. But two, this hitch, look how thick this 4-inch tubing is. Or 3. I think it's, I'm not actually, I measured. I was pretty sure it was 4-inch tube. This hitch, I was told, according to their specs on their website, is rated for 20,000 pounds and 2,000 pounds of tongue weight. Not a problem. I always keep my tongue weight, you know, relatively decent. And I've scale ticketed out. I don't think I've ever gone overweight on that. But this hitch has only ever seen 15,000 pounds. Now, that's not the issue. The hitch itself, I can say it'll hold up. But if you're going to rate a hitch at 20,000 pounds, address the weak points. Look what this fucker's doing to the frame. It's pulling this down and squeezing this in. So look at these holes too. They're getting oblonged. So what I'm going to have to do is take this hitch and I'm going to make a gusset back behind so that it bolts in the front and the rear. And then I might actually even try to find a, well, they sell them on Amazon. They're like 250 bucks. It's a square tube that goes into the back of the hitch and then goes up and reinforces itself to the frame. So, whereas they're like, yeah, they've made a hitch that's technically rated for 20,000 pounds, they don't actually address the weak points. Like, all of this hitch would have had to do was just have a second beam come back here and another bolt hole. That's it. And I feel like it would have been an all right design, all right? But unfortunately, because it's here, I'm assuming that most people who put these on their trucks don't actually tow with them the way that we do. Like, who puts a roll pan on a hotshot truck? You know what I mean? So for these guys, I doubt they're using it to what I'm using it for. See, I think the hitch will do fine if you tow 20,000 pounds every now and again. But when you do it 15,000 pounds constantly or 10,000 pounds constantly, I feel like that's where the problem lies. So I'm going to dismantle this thing. I'm not going to give them any more free advertisement on this. I'm going to be drilling this out and getting that off of there. And then I might paint this thing the teal to match the front, especially since this thing's going black. We're also, before we go out, I'm going to be doing some rear brakes because that one decides that it wants to not be a rear brake anymore and wants to be a drag. So let's start tearing this thing apart and see what I can come up with. I do have, I think I had a shitload of it. Yeah, right here. This stuff. This stuff should be plenty thick for what I need to do. So I'm going to chop 2 pieces here, and then those are going to be my gussets. And I'll show you guys how this thing comes out, but let's go get this thing on the vise. So while I have this thing up as well, I do want to address that the response back that I pretty much got was, we've never seen this problem before, and you're using a drop hitch on it, it could be a pry point. So nobody in the world is allowed to use a drop hitch on one of these, otherwise they're going to have a problem. That's basically what I'm getting out of this. So I'm going to be drilling this out, getting rid of that, cleaning all this stuff up. We're going to butt weld right here. I'm going to clean this weld out, and that's how we're pretty much going to do that, make the brace. and try to make it strong. I'm gonna do a weld down below, a weld down the side, a weld up top, clean it all up. I don't know if I'm gonna stick or MIG it. I might stick it, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Got that label cut off there. In the scrap bin. All right, so this is my plan here. I haven't cut anything out yet other than these two pieces, and they are pretty damn near perfect on top of each other. Like perfect size. I cut them out at 2.5 inch. I put the line at 2.5 inch so they would come out just slightly under, because when I measured this, it was just under 2.5, like 2 7/16, something like that. So, and then just use that, then my chalk line, cut her out, and then that's where we're at. So I'm thinking the longer end, I don't know, actually, to tell you the truth, I don't know which one I want to do yet. I don't know if I want to put the long end down and the short end up. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna weld all in here, all down the side, all underneath, and then all down this side as well. And then we'll figure out where I need to drill my hole. And then I gotta find hardware. So I'm gonna get this whole thing cleaned up with the with this guy over here. This guy, which I'm gonna have to go buy a new one soon because this guy's getting down there. But I need this done today. All right, here's kind of what we're coming up with. I took this guy here, set it there, and then pulled it to it, and then squeezed it down. So we've got everything cleaned out in here. I'm gonna bevel this a little bit more once we get a tack in here, and then that, definitely wanna clean that a little bit more, but you guys get the point. This is pretty much where we're at. It's where I want it. I can pull this off, that's not a big deal, but I'm gonna clean under here, and then probably clean this up a lot more while we're in here, before we start throwing some welds down. But we're gonna bevel this out as well. Once this side's welded out, I'm gonna bevel this. Once that side's welded out, I'm gonna bevel all of this. Bevel this a little bit better. Actually, that might be all right, but this definitely, and we'll go from there, but she's coming. All right, so I decided to 70-18 stick it. It's all right. I filled in 3 passes up here, and then I had to grind some out because I wanted it flush, but we have more than enough up there. That kind of looks like shit up in there, but I didn't do the greatest of cleaning. This one's not bad, but it is what it is. I'm gonna do better on the other side. So I decided, rather than just welding everything out in once, I'll do one side, and now I will tackle the other side. I gotta grind, what was it, all of this out. So that was pretty fun, but you guys can see it does sit flat. It's strong enough. Not worried about it. If it was a customer project, I would definitely take my time and make it look a little bit nicer. But as you guys know, I care a lot more about customer stuff than I do my own stuff. So next step, let's flip this over and start on the other side. And then I definitely think we're gonna throw a nice coat of that teal paint on there. So as this truck goes black, which whether or not you see it in this video or not, I don't know if you will, the black hood that we're picking up. But if you guys see it, this teal, this is kind of the color scheme we're going with. So we're gonna do the intercooler, and we're gonna do the hitch, and we're probably gonna do some radius arms at some point for it. Same thing with the bike concept. You guys can see I got my teal. It's my signature right now. I don't know, been doing that for a couple years. But clean that off as well. Yeah, so this thing will look neat underneath there. It'll kind of try to break everything up, and it won't just be a black, ugly piece of steel, I guess. But this thing is beefy as shit. It's a shame that they didn't take the time to, like, all they would have had to do was just do this, and it would have been fine. And they probably could have done a way better job than I could. But it is what it is. It's my project. It's a little ugly. I could go through here, clean all this up, and weld a decent weld on it, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's literally mine, and it's going up in. I don't care. All right, so we got the next one done. Other than the BBs, I need to get a spray to be able to do away with the BBs. I kind of hit this with a flap disc here to make sure that it's going to be flat. So I'm gonna get this whole thing degreased, brake cleanered out, and then we're just gonna paint over what we have here. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a fucking work truck. It's not, you know, it's not like we're going to SEMA with this thing. I just need this thing to go down the road, and I want a little bit of teal on it. So that's what I mean by it's a work truck. I'm just gonna slap some teal on this thing, clean it up, and we'll go from there. I got plenty of degreaser somewhere. Oh, it's on the back of Bertha. But yeah, I'm gonna spray this thing off and give her the old Scotch Brite. All right, guys, we got her on there. That's all I'm gonna do for now. I don't have the time because I still want to get this bumper yet. But she's now braced back there. Not sure if I'll have. I probably will at some point drill a hole in that if this still is a problem. But that's where we're at. So this thing has a big beefy washer on it. Everything's all tight down. No, the paint job's not the greatest, but the front looks really good. Or I should say the back, but there you go. With the black, I like it. I've always liked that weird teal. So now I'm gonna flip around, get my welding leads cleaned up, flip back around, and then we'll start messing with this bumper. I think main thing is I wanna see if we can get this mounted. And these are the brackets for a, well, for a 5th gen. So we'll see.